Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of the Drive Home Podcast. I'm your host, and I have the next 2 days off. That's besides the point. Let's drive this podcast home. So I worked a medium shift, 6.5 hours. Got out at 8 again tonight. I closed, of course, but that's not what's important, I guess. Not right now. I have the next 2 days off, and hopefully a lot will be happening in the next 2 days for me. And there's been lots of recent developments, so let's get into that. So, I believe last time I talked about how much I love Citizen Sleeper, and a little bit about the new No Man's Sky update, and then some other things I don't necessarily remember. But that's not what this episode is about. I will say, though, recently, so the window in the driver's side, the window behind the driver's seat, the one for the passenger who would sit behind the driver, is off its rocker or something, which, long story short, means it won't stay up all the way, which is bad because it's supposed to, and it's, just barely February. Now, I've got it to stay where it is for now, but in other recent developments, because there are always more, especially with my car. So this morning, I was supposed to take my brother to work. His work's like 5 minutes away. It's whatever. He won't get a license, so somebody has to drive him there. 5 minutes, it's like 1 or 2 minutes away by driving. But it's within town. He could walk to it and be there in half an hour. It's just too cold right now. But I couldn't take him today because when I started up my car and tried to back up, long story short, I couldn't steer. Something was wrong with my power steering fluid. It wasn't going to where it needed to. I had enough in, and it just it had to do with the cold. It had to do with how cold it was. To that end, I didn't know that. I didn't know any of that. But I talked with my dad, who's a mechanic, and he knew. He informed me, and he had me test a couple things. And so if I left the car running long enough, it would have been fine. But I had to take my brother to work within the next 5 minutes, because why try to be prepared when you cannot? But, yeah, I don't know. That happened, and that was scary for me because I didn't need another reason to get my car fixed. I already have the previous one, this one. The previous issue, which didn't get fixed when I got my car checked out for the next year or whatever. And then also, which I do need to get that part fixed still. But also with the window that just happened, that was not pleasant for me either. I usually say either, but either fits there. And it's weird because neither is a mispronunciation. They're both correct, I believe. I don't know, I'm not too much of a word person. But so yeah, that happened. So, the guy who I normally go to and went to with my car before, I'm gonna call up tomorrow since this is still the weekend right now. And I'm gonna see if he can fit me in at some point. It should yeah, I'm just hoping my car stays afloat until then. Because if not, I'll be in deeper trouble. And also, I don't know what this is, but I need to take my car to the town hall and get a sticker for the license plate or something. And I'm a little bit late on that, so fun. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about this episode. So before I get into it, you might have read the title. I will just say that if you're not into, like, anything, if you're not into, like, if you're not gonna believe someone, just, like, and obviously you shouldn't take everything I say seriously. I'm some random guy on the internet. You don't have to trust me or anything. But, like, if you're not gonna at least, like, consider something is happening that's strange and that I'm just making this up, then you're not going to want to like this episode. So I recommend you leave. And this goes back quite a ways, but I used to stay up all night watching TV, playing video games, whatever. And by all night, I do mean all night. Like, I would be awake at like 6, 7 in the morning, get some breakfast, and then sleep until like noon or 2 in the afternoon if I didn't have anything else to do that day. So basically summer vacation and weekends and, stuff like that. Because this was back when I was in school mostly. So, I don't know if I figured it out or I just started working it out. We're figuring out its inner workings around middle school. But, and to give an example of one that I do remember pretty well. So, I had a Wii U. I didn't have an Xbox or anything else. I had a Wii U and a Nintendo consoles for almost exclusively Nintendo consoles for a long time. And, at some point, Minecraft had come out on the Wii U, which was a big thing because Nintendo has been very weird about, like, bigger third-party developers, I guess. Like, either they have their games almost exclusively through Nintendo or whatever. So to see, like, Minecraft come to the Wii U was really interesting. And I played the heck out of it. If I would go back onto that world, I have a bunch of stuff. And the minigames were interesting when they added them. This was before that. So, the way the Wii U multiplayer worked was essentially you could set it to public and anyone could join you. Pretty much. Didn't even have to be in the same area. Didn't even have to be friends on the system. And then there was voice chat through the Wii U gamepad. And to make a matter, to make a long story short, this is where the story begins, in a way. Well, at least from my memory. I can't remember too much that happened before it, but I do not believe that was the first instance of what I'm about to tell you. So, getting to the specifics of it, I believe I have a really specific conditional superpower to see briefly into the future. Now, is it a superpower or is it just magic happening in my brain or whatever, right? Like, I think brains are still really not misunderstood or not understood enough. We don't understand what happens or goes on in the brain enough to be able to say what the brain can or can't do. So I'm not going to say that this could just be like super science and I'm just lucky and I figured out some of the terms and conditions for the contract or whatever. But so It's such a weird thing to describe, honestly. And, I don't expect many of you to even, believe me with this kind of stuff. Because, obviously it doesn't, there's no evidence. I dream, and then a while later, it happens. And it's almost impossible to, it's weird. Because it's canonic, if I could describe what kind of future vision it is, it's set in stone. It's hard to tell exactly what's going on because I don't remember in my dream or not. If I don't remember my dreams too well, but some of them stand out. But also, I don't remember more specifically, because I do sometimes remember or recall them. I don't remember if I could hear my thoughts in the dreams. Because it's more like I'm witnessing the future through my eyes, but it's not that future me. I'm just looking at what he's looking at and hearing what he's hearing. But I can't hear into his head because they're not the same. Another instance I can recall vividly is me and my brother having a conversation in his room at my dad's house. It was a really specific and weird conversation. It only happened that once, and we never brought it up again. And whatever. And it's weird because usually I forget the dreams almost instantly, or I can't remember what they were about. But there's always one constant with my future dreams. At least in the dreams themselves. And the constant is that it is first person, because I am witnessing the future through my eyes. I can only see what I see, or I will see, I guess. And the strange thing is, when in that moment, when that happens, I become extremely aware of the immense amount of deja vu that is happening. And I remember my dream. Because I remember the words. I remember, I don't remember the words anymore because it's been a couple of years since any of the big important ones that I'm able to remember more vividly, but... And the reason I brought Minecraft into this, Minecraft on the Wii U, is because, and this is hard to prove, but I met a person on there who became, my, not actual best friends, but, we became best friends in the sense that we would play Minecraft together on the Wii U a lot. And we even did the weird Wii U FaceTime thing with each other, at least once. He was sort of out, mine and my brother, because we shared the Wii U, of course. He was mine and my brother's, primary internet friend, I guess, at the time. Because we really only had real-life friends at that point. But we interacted with him so much that he basically became our real-life friend. In a sense. Literally, if we weren't doing anything, we would, I don't know. I mean, he was younger than we were at the time, which would mean he still is, but and we haven't spoken in years because, the Wii U just isn't a thing anymore, realistically, but it was fun while it lasted, and we played a lot of stuff together. It was really fun. Because it wasn't just Minecraft, but Minecraft was, where we met. And I remember I had a future dream of, meeting him or talking to him for, the first time. I remember, the position of my TV in my room, which changes from time to time, which I think it had at that time. And, where I was, vaguely where I was sitting, in a sense. What the world looked like at the exact time and what I was doing in the game as we were talking. And it was funny because I don't bring it up to people, especially like online people. I brought it up to my brother a couple of times, and maybe like one or two of my friends, my close friends. But I don't tell people I have future vision dreams occasionally, mostly because I barely remember the dreams until the events happen, and the events are like set in stone in a sense. Like I can't seem to change the outcome because either I won't remember that I've witnessed it before, or it won't. The dreams themselves won't allow me to change the outcome. Either it's fated to either it's set in stone and I can't change what happens in them, which they're usually short and insignificant things technically. Insignificant, I'm not watching the news, I'm not seeing this is who won what election. Not that I watch the news anyway, but I don't know. Just I don't know. It's just something I don't talk about because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, it is kind of crap because it has a decent amount of conditions. Conditions that I don't recommend any of you try, but I will explain them. So, at least one of the conditions that I'm aware of is don't want to try it. So the two conditions I'm aware of, and I don't know if it would be different for different people or not, or any of that. The first one is you have to be sleep deprived in a sense. You don't have to be awake for 2 days straight or anything, but you have to really, really, really tire yourself out without the use of drugs. You have to push your awake time to its limit, and but don't drink or don't consume things to either wake you up or make you fall asleep. Just naturally stay awake until you can no longer stay awake. And then, which is for me sleep deprived, because as I've said before, I have sleeping issues. I would stay awake all the time, watch TV until the sun came up, and then past that, pretend that I just woke up really early in the morning, whatever. And then the second one, which I don't necessarily recommend, but I can't stop you when it's not harmful in small dosages, I guess. I don't know. It is to not eat meat, or I say meat, I don't know if I mean protein specifically or something specifically contained within meat, but I used to be a real picky eater, and I didn't like a lot of meat. I only really care for processed meats at the time, or fried meats, like fried chicken and stuff. Fried chicken, bologna, pepperoni, stuff like that, salami. I like those. Didn't always get to have those, so I didn't always eat meat a lot. I guess I do like hot dogs, though, I guess, at the time. It's not that I don't like hot dogs now, either. I still like all the stuff that I mentioned, but as I got older, I don't know. Something happened. I just started, being okay with eating meat. Or, if anything, I'm a little bit, not addicted to it, but, it feels like, because I'm a man, right? I'm a guy. Maybe something in me is just, you need to eat meat. I'll get cravings. So, if I don't eat meat, I'll feel like I need to or want to. And then, the food at work, they have, a wing bar, and there's meat there, and it tastes good. And it's warm, and right now it's cold outside, so it's good to have warm food. Let's see. Yeah, so those are the two conditions that I'm aware of. I don't recommend it. I really don't, especially not the sleep one. Do not sleep deprive yourself like that. Don't stay awake until you can't. It's not good for you. It actually, doing that, not for the sake of testing it out, but just for the sake of, if I don't get tired, I don't go to sleep. I had seizures. I got seizures because of that staying awake all night thing. And I'm not happy about it, not proud of it. But it changed the way I live to some extent. I take pills every day now for it. And it's not fun. The pills aren't bad. It's an extra expense. And I had 2 seizures, and I haven't had any since. And at the time, this would bring on mini seizures a lot. Like, getting out of bed, if you ever feel weak and have to, like, crouch down or lean on something, that's the sign. Tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is like tunnel vision and weakness in your limbs and general body. At least that's what I associate with mini seizures. Not so much shaking or anything, but that's essentially what happens. You lose control, essentially. You're disconnected. So I don't recommend trying it. Not that I have the time to try it anymore too much, but and not that I because I generally eat a decent amount of meat or possibly protein now, so it'd be interesting if I could do it again as an experiment, and there might be more conditions, and it doesn't always happen, so let's go over it. Sleep deprived, but no external factors. It has to be natural, and you will fall asleep at some point. Just let that happen. But stay awake until you literally can't. Your eyes are closing on you. You're basically fading in and out of consciousness. That kind of thing. Don't eat meat for at least around a day prior to doing this. Or maybe protein. I don't know the exact standards. It's a trial and error kind of thing. And the dream itself has to be in first person, because that's what makes sense. So, yeah, that's about it. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Drive Home Podcast. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, you don't have to. And as always, I hope you all have a great next 24 hours. Goodbye.